Interesting comparison, right? Hi, and thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Phil, aka Phil, and today I want to do a quick comparison between the Nikon Zf with the 40mm f2 lens versus the newly released Leica Q3 43 with the 40mm focal length. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a professional and this is not a technical comparison whatsoever. I just wanted to compare these two cameras and focal lengths out of curiosity for myself, and how I compare pictures between two cameras is just comparing pictures. So I don't shoot any brick walls or anything like that, and I don't do extreme pixel peeping. So please manage your expectations if you're interested into this topic. I have split it up this quick comparison into two topics, you can say. One is regarding the field of view, because I was interested if the 43mm of this Q3 is somehow a different one compared to the 40mm I have with this Nikon Zf. The background of this is because the original Q28mm lens, the Zumilux 1.7, was in reality more 25mm. It was wider than the promoted 28mm, and I wanted to find out if this is also the case for the 43 version. I also put into the mix the SL2 combined with the 40mm Summicron CL version, just as a quick additional comparison, and also mounted the 35 Summicron f2 lens onto the DSL just to show you how the 35 millimeter field of view compares to the 40mm. The second part of the video will be regarding how the background blur renders in comparison, and also just a little bit of pixel peeping. So let's dive into Lightroom. As I already mentioned, here I just took some pictures of a field to illustrate the field of view, and please don't judge my exposure. On that day it was very cloudy, and while switching cameras the light changes a lot, and I was more focusing on probably get the composition right, because I did this all handheld, so no tripod. So don't be too harsh on me on that regard. All right, here you have on the right the Q3 43 with the 43mm APO lens, and here on the left the Nikon Zf 40mm, both shot at f8. And here it's quite interesting on first view. You can't, or at least I'm not able to see big difference. For me at first glance it looked like the field of view is quite the same, you can say. But if I punch in here, it looks like, or it feels like at 100% zoom, that the 43mm on the right of the Q3 is a little bit tighter, or you have a little bit more reach compared to the 40mm of the Nikon lens. And here you can see it even more clearly of the sign in the background, that here the field of view is a little bit more, has more reach on the Q3. If I here put also the SL2 with the 40mm Summicron CL manual lens into the mix, it's this, basically the same picture. Don't mind the f4.8 here up here. It's because the manual focus lens didn't get the correct metadata into Lightroom. And just as an additional comparison, this is how a 35mm looks like. Here unfortunately I forgot to put it onto f8, but you get the point. This is how 35 looks in comparison to 43. Here it's also looking quite similar. If we punch in again, right, I'm not sure if I was able to get the composition quite similar, but I was focusing on this truck, and you can see here also that the Q3 43 It's a little bit longer, and based on the focal length, 40 millimeter compared to 43, looks like it's correct, right? Also, as you see, I shot everything in RAW, Q3 43 DNG file, the Nikon Zf on the Nef file, which is the RAW format of Nikon. Here an additional example, I think I was trying to focus onto this house in the background, and again you can see that the 43 millimeter is a little bit, has more reach compared to 40 millimeter. Especially you can see on the Nikon small a little house, and on the Q3 it's not visible anymore because it's a little bit longer. All right, that's just the topic regarding field of view. So as I said, this is just how I take pictures and compare them. I was doing my best to stand at the exact place, pointing and focusing on this same object to get the composition as good as possible to do this comparison. And in my opinion, it looks like that the Q3 43 is a little bit longer than 40 millimeters, which is as it is advertised 43, ergo it's the correct focal length. Now the second topic is, I think for most of you, the more interesting part is the rendering of these both lenses, and how the ZF compares to the Q3 with that 40 millimeter lens. So I did the following. Here's a picture of a penguin of my daughter, a Kuscheltier. I'm not sure what's that in English. Cuddle toy. That's a new word I just learned. Oh, that's British English. Stuffed animal is the American term. Okay, stuffed animal or cuddle toy, whatever. This is the penguin of my daughter, as I already mentioned. And you see that basically I tried to simulate a kind of a portrait shot, and here obviously the subject is this penguin, and on the left is the Nikon Zf with the 40 millimeter f2 lens shot at f2 compared to the Q3 43 f2 lens APO. And here, if you just look at this picture, I find it quite interesting that in my eyes, I don't see big differences regarding the background blur behind the penguin and also before the penguin. Here you can see how the fall off of the books are. If I zoom in, looks in both cases for me quite great, but quite similar. Also here how the piano is falling off regarding the bokeh, right? And here you can see also the details. This Nikon 40mm f2 lens is known to be a sleeper in the photography community because for its prices it's very good, and a lot of people has pointed that out already. And I think you can see that here, that the Nikon Zf with the 40mm lens is quite, if you just take pictures and don't have a side-by-side comparison, I think you are hardly able to identify which is which. And as I said regarding the bokeh, here it renders quite similar in my opinion. So I'm quite curious, what's your opinion on this? Do you see any differences? I think it's for you even harder to tell because of the YouTube compression. But here, just zoom in and doing this kind of pixel peeping, which I don't do in real world. I find it quite interesting how both of them compare, right? Sure, you can see here the Q3 43 is a little bit more punched in. That's fine because of the 43mm lens. But regarding sharpness, bokeh, fall off, etc., in my opinion, they are quite comparable. And that's how I use my cameras, right? I don't pixel peep regarding chromatic aberrations. I don't see anything like in that case. Or also purple fringing. I will show you now a comparison shot with the SL, with the 40mm CL lens. That's a vintage lens from the 70s, and here you can see that lens. I think I didn't focus correctly, but you can see that it's quite soft because I shot it at f2. This information above is not correct because it doesn't have the 6-bit coding. It's quite soft, it's not as sharp, and you can see that kind of fringing or chromatic aberrations whatsoever, right? But the Nikon lens compared to the APO lens, for my use case, I don't see any difference with my normal human hobby eyes. Here also just a side note regarding close focusing distance and how they compare next to each other. On the Nikon, I think the minimal distance is 0.29 meters, so about 30 centimeters. And on the Q3 43, if you enter macro mode, you can get a little bit closer. Yeah, I think on the Q3 43 regarding macro, it's about 0.25, 0.24 meters regarding close focusing, and that's illustrated here, right? Just to illustrate that comparison again regarding the bokeh and sharpness. Again, a different shot with this penguin model. Let me know in the comments what's your thought about this comparison. Perhaps I did something wrong. Perhaps someone can enlighten me to do a better comparison. But that's how, as I said, I use my cameras, how I do my family memory photos of my wife and kids. And as I said, if I don't have any comparison, I wouldn't know which camera is which. So I find these findings quite interesting also for me, right? Here regarding sharpness and so on. The Nikon 40mm lens is very good. And here the background blur. Quite similar in my eyes at least. Right. Let me just quickly jump back to this picture. One topic I forgot to quickly mention is regarding distortion. As I said, I'm not a technical reviewer or shooter, but in this picture you kind of can get an idea that both of these lenses don't distort in any regard, at least for my eyes. The lines of this shelf is, in my opinion, quite straight. Also here on the side of the piano, here also the lines. In my opinion, there's no kind of distortion. Sure, if I shoot a brick wall, I think I would get a much more accurate finding or result, but I guess you will watch different channels for these kinds of tests. Yeah, that's my small comparison between the Nikon Zf with the 40mm lens and this Q3 43. Are you surprised regarding the results and the fall off and etc. from the bokeh and sharpness? I know that this 40mm lens from Nikon is very good. I shot with that since I have the Nikon Zf because I bought that in the kit lens combo. Thanks to the Nikon Zf and that 40mm f2 lens, I learned to love that focal length, and that's also the reason or the result of that year of experience led to this one. So I quite knew that this lens is quite great. And am I now disappointed that that lens, at least in my eyes, there's no significant big difference compared to this one? No, I wouldn't say that, because I bought this Q3 43 for a different reason. I always loved the Q lineup of from Leica, but I tried the Q1, the Q2 monochrome, the Q3, and every time I thought, okay, this time I will make the 28mm, aka 26mm on Q system somehow work for me, especially when the Q with the Q2 and the Q3, I thought I will just crop, etc. Somehow I didn't fall in love into that work process to always crop my images, and always wished for a longer focal length. And that's basically why I got this. This is the Q camera I always wanted, with a longer focal length. I just love this form factor. It is the most compact full frame camera I can find right now on the market, with this kind of build quality and emotion to shoot. I tried in the past the A7C Mark I from Sony, didn't fall in love with that, even when the A7CR with the higher megapixel came out. When I read and saw videos that the EVF has not improved much regarding the magnification, I also passed on that. And then you don't have much options if you want a small compact full frame camera. I'm unfortunately a sucker for the Leica build quality, and therefore there's not much alternatives on the market. And this just feels great in the hand, especially with the grip here. Overall, it's in my hands better feeling in my hands regarding ergonomics compared to the ZF. The ZF is, for me personally, always a bit bulky and heavy, but a lot of people see that differently. Personal preferences are different, and that's fine, right? So everyone can choose their camera of choice. I found this comparison quite interesting, perhaps surprising. Yeah, for me it was just out of curiosity. I know that people who are looking for that perfect clinical corrected image regarding any kind of image fringing, color shifts, etc. This lens, the APO lens, is a dream lens. But for me, for my daily use, I have to admit that my eyes, at least, don't see that kind of difference. I'm just shooting, for me personally, here and there on the streets, and mostly taking pictures of my family. But nevertheless, I have a lot of fun with this camera since I have it, and I'm not disappointed that I don't see the difference because the experience is what matters to me. And even more, I'm delighted, so to say, that the Nikon Zf with that 40mm lens is, in my eyes, on the same level like the Q3 regarding image quality. Just shows that nowadays you don't need that much money to get a great lens and a great camera. For example, if you don't have the money for the Nikon Zf, you can just buy an older Z camera from Nikon. The 40mm f2 lens, you can buy it used under $200. So it's quite affordable, and then you can get that kind of image quality. So yeah, don't be stupid like me and get this one. I'm just, as I said, unfortunately a sucker for Leica cameras and their build quality. Not the quality control, but the camera build quality. So I hope you know what I mean. All right, I talked a lot, I think. So comments below what you think about my thoughts, my findings. I'm not usually doing these kinds of comparisons. And if you have any ideas what I should have not also included into this small comparison, please let me know. Perhaps I will do a follow-up. But for now, that's it. If you're still here watching until this point, thank you very much for your time. You are the one who deserves the like for that. And if you want to support my small little channel, just check the affiliate links below in the description, or buy me coffee, link also in the description. And if you want to see more videos on my channel, just click on one of these, and have a nice day.